This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Good Neighbors Podcast. Today we have a good neighbor with us. It's the lovely Annemarie Hill from LegalShield. How are you, my dear?
I'm awesome, thank you. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to have a bit of time with you and your listeners.
You getting a little bit of a tan over there today with the sunshine coming in, or what?
Yeah, it's nice. Forget it. I don't need to go to Mexico. It's in my backyard.
Always like Monday morning, I'm kind of like, I don't sleep in, but I can't get up and do my regular routine. You're coming off the weekend, maybe you're staying up a little bit later than you should. I'm exposing myself here, but so I wasn't able to go out for my run. I'm getting back into my runnings. I'm a little bit of a chicken, let's just put it politely, when it comes to the cold. Even though I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, you'd think I'd be good, but no, it's just like a language. If you don't use it or exposed to it, it changes you. So I can't get myself to run in the middle of the winter, but we're kind of at that point now where the sun's starting to come up a little bit sooner. So I want to try to get out there. So Jax is my Australian Shepherd. He's almost 3 years old. We're going to go for a run later this afternoon, and I'm going to die, but I'm ready to get out there. So enjoy some of that sunshine.
There you go. Well, yeah, I just came off yesterday playing 3.5 hours of pickleball.
Yeah. So, you've been getting into that, eh? That pickleball. Like I'm a big sports guy. Like I like all this stuff. And I've always wanted to kind of try it. And it seems like you've got the itch now. Like you're out there all the time playing pickleball.
So I just joined a new group today, which is Monday. So that'll be 4 times this week. Holy. Is it a good workout? Yeah. I think my steps were 18,500 yesterday. So I was a little tired last night.
How are the glutes? Are you all tight or what?
A little bit. It's like, get back to that yoga, stretch it out.
If I did that, I'd be so tight. Oh my God. That's because I'm out of shape. But anyways, I digress. Let's hop into it here. Okay, so I got to meet you early last year. I am a client of yours as well. Phenomenal product. Why don't we tell the listeners about your business?
You bet. Absolutely. So I'm the regional manager with LegalShield for Central Ontario. So I am also a broker, meaning I have a team, and we offer subscription-based legal services for small businesses, individuals, and families at a very small amount, monthly pay, so that you get the benefit of millions of people subscribing into it and having a top law firm in your back pocket when you need them. And then we also deal with identity theft protection and restoration, including a VPN, so virtual private network to protect your devices everywhere you go. We also monitor all your personal information on the dark web, which is not a place that you want to go, but our investigators go and make sure your stuff is not showing up there. And then we do comprehensive restoration. So there's really nothing out in North America that does. We have the 2 services, our 2 flagship products, if you will, that help protect small businesses and families. I love it because I really see people's stress going from really high to really low, because they're like, you know what, for as little as $33 to protect your family, you're going to get your will, you're going to get your power of attorney, you're going to get all these services. Your business, we can cover that too. And so people are like, it's how much? What did you just say? But we deal with a top law firm established in 1886 in Ontario, for example. They've been our provider firm. This is our 25th year in Canada. 25th year in Canada. And they've been our provider. Large law firm out of Toronto. We work with, they are the ones that provide the services to our members. And then if it's something that you needed to hire a lawyer, maybe locally, because you would maybe want to deal with the Toronto law firm, but it's something where you're going to need to actually like hire them and pay them a retainer, then we refer it to the local lawyers and law firms that are in good standing, with the Upper Canada Law Association. And we refer it out locally too. So actually we align ourselves with a lot of law firms locally as well. So it's not just the Toronto firm, but they do handle a bulk of the work. and you don't have to leave your house. You can just go onto our app on our phone,
Yeah.
put in a request, they get back to you, you're good to go, and you're not signing anything or entering into anything that you just don't really know what it says. It gives you empowerment. It gives you the right to access, when you kind of got that gut feeling of that's not fair, that's when our services come into play. And so a lot of people are like, well, I don't really use a lawyer, but it's really an everyday life event. It could be that you feel taken advantage of in a situation. It could be to do with, if you're a small business, it could be debt collection issues. It could be HR matters. It could be having non-disclosure agreements, non-compete clauses for your employees, all kinds of things that we help people have access to. And if they don't know about us, then when I meet them, they're like, what? I needed to know about that before. Okay, I need that now. And that actually just happened to me last week. So it's great. And I love how I see people's stress just lift.
Yeah. I mean, I had investments going on, and that company got compromised. That's where I knew about you, and I called you up. I'm on the identity theft product, and I have to say it is definitely what you're saying about like that kind of peace of mind. Definitely a product that I would recommend for sure. And like you said, people don't really think at the start, well, I don't need a lawyer. When am I going to need a lawyer? And it's just very small-minded thinking. There are life events, like you said, that happen all the time where you have direct access to somebody, and it is so inexpensive, especially when the time comes to be able to have access, and you have it all at your fingertips right on your telephone. So absolute phenomenal product.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with a lot of our small businesses now too, I mean, for all of, $1,200 for the whole year, just a little over that, maybe you're going to get trial defense just in case somebody sues you in a civil action suit. Just to have that, I've got business owners who go, I want that. It's almost like an insurance, but yet they're using the other services, in that level of, because we have ones that are 600, we have ones that are 1,200, and a little beyond that. But I encourage people to meet with me for a consultation, find out what's the best service that they need for themselves, for their families, and for their small business, because it's a scalable product or service, so it can fit with wherever they need. But with the one that's $1,200 for the year, they're getting things like a trademark or a copyright covered. Well, that's a $2,500 bill, just that one thing. If it's just that one thing that they only used it for, they're in savings. So, I mean, actually, I protected a business last week, and that's exactly, he goes, I need to do a trademark. And I'm like, yep. And came out to my networking event, because I run networking events every week. I run a Tuesday networking event for the small business community. It allows people to come out. Last week we had 24 people, and it's growing locally in Barrie. It's my give back to the business community to say, hey, listen, there's a free event, come on out, bring other business owners along, and let's have some collaboration. And a lot of people are really cross-referring, so it's amazing. Love that.
Definitely know that feeling. I usually ask at the end, but since we're on the topic, how can they find that networking event if they want to join?
So it's on Eventbrite. It is on the Barrie Chamber of Commerce as well every Tuesday, but it's from 3 to 5 p.m. at Grillicious Wine Bar, number 2 Marcellus Drive, and it's every Tuesday. And so sometimes people go onto Eventbrite. Sometimes they find me on Facebook. We do have a Facebook group that they can also go to. We have, I think, we're approaching 200 small business owners on that list right now. So I usually do a blast. I'll do one today. I usually do one on Tuesday as well, just to remind people that, hey, remember, we're coming. But it's now actually, because I've been running that consistently every week, except for Christmas week this last year, that group has taken on a life of its own. Business owners are bringing business owners. And that's exactly what I wanted. They're like, yeah, I invited 3 or 4 people. So we're almost at the point where we're filling the whole restaurant, which is really exciting. And that was the goal of mine. I mean, I don't get anything from this. It's just you're building relationships with people. And that's what the business community is all about, is just getting out and getting to know people, and people knowing you, liking you, and trusting you, and going, hey, have you talked to this person? Have you talked to that one? Hey, this one might be able to help you.
100%. And that's right here in Barrie for those who are wanting to know that. Okay, so you're doing some goodwill. You've got a phenomenal product to help individuals, families, businesses. You're a connector of people. Tell us a little bit about this journey of yours, and where were you before, and how did you get into being with LegalShield?
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So over 16 years ago now, I can't even believe that happened. But anyway, I'd gone through a divorce, single mom raising 2 young kids. My background, I was a family therapist, and I was like, being on call to my clientele for 24/7 just didn't really vibe with raising 2 young kids on my own. And I stumbled across LegalShield. In fact, it was my daughter's Girl Guide leader who was doing it. And she goes, I just want you to know what I'm doing. And when I saw it, I was like, well, wait a second. I'm a landlord. I also had a business on the side. I needed my will and power of attorney. And I'm like, that just made sense. Immediately, my brain started going. And I'm like, I know lots of businesses and families that need this service. Well, how do I do it? I'd like to do that. And so there was a system in place. And so it really gave me, I was, looking for something that had a system that I could literally build a team and coach and mentor the team. And that's what I love doing as well. And really helping other people. And so I actually figured I could help more people with LegalShield than doing my counseling. And I still do some divorce counseling and helping people heal in the aftermath of divorce. But really, I just saw that people needed it and they didn't know about it. I didn't know about it. When I went through my divorce, I didn't know about it. So I was like, okay, well, if I didn't know about it, then there's a lot of other people that didn't too. And so I saw that there was an opportunity and jumped on. It allowed me to be able to raise my kids on my terms, my way, work the hours I want to for my own business, and not have a toxic boss telling me what to do and when I could be off or when I had to work and all that. So that was really my driving force. And then being able to take people who, I describe it as, sometimes people come on board with me and they're like a tight rosebud, and then they just blossom and bloom. And it's such a cool thing to be able to touch other people's lives, touch, their families' lives as well, whether it's just with the service or whether it's, being part of the brokerage and the referral program. Even I have that too. But, it's really gratifying, really gratifying. We've touched thousands and thousands of families and small businesses with our services, and, directly me and my team have. So it's very impactful and rewarding. And that's kind of how I got going, really, coming off a divorce. All things happen for a reason. And that was it for me. I was like, why is this happening to me? But if I hadn't gone through the divorce that I did, and it's not toxic, like it's not a bad, we just couldn't be married. But, if the circumstance hadn't been that way, I might not have seen the opportunity the way I did when it came across my desk, if you will. So at that point I said, oh yeah, I need that for so many things.
Yeah, well,
and that was when I'm going to tell everybody about this, because I do that, right? As a connector, I tell everybody about great things that I find out there.
100%. 100%. Well, that's a great story. Happy to see that everything is working out for you and you doing that goodwill and putting out that goodwill out there in our communities. It's a pleasure to see and watch it grow. It's been over a year since we've known each other now. Mm-hmm. And we look forward to helping you spread your message. You've got a great product and you're a great person. Okay. Thanks. So when it comes to your line of work, I'm just really curious because I've never asked you this question before. And knowing that it's word of mouth only is how you guys kind of spread your word. What would be like, do you get any myths or like common misconceptions when, you're sitting down with somebody, kind of explaining them the process and how this all works?
Sure. Absolutely. So sometimes people go, well, and that's why I like the business community, because they get the value of a lawyer. I mean, at, $300, $400, $500, $600 or plus an hour, they get it. And they're like, I can get a whole year of services for an hour of, a typical hour with a regular lawyer, law firm. I can get a whole year of services. Are you kidding me? And yeah, but, sometimes I do run into the occasional, I don't need that. The ID Shield, for example, like our ID Shield product. I'm like, really? Oh, you don't? Okay. You travel? Do you ever travel? Do you want to make sure your cell phone is protected? Like, who's sitting beside you? I personally, I've had the service. My kids are protected. My parents, my sister, everybody has it. But, I got the email from Service Canada. They lost millions of Canadians' information out there. It's out. It's gone. It's like, wow, things like your SIN number and your driver's license and passport numbers, all out there, and you can't get it back. So you got to do something that's going to have somebody kind of watching your back when you're wanting to sleep at night, have somebody else protecting you. And so I try to educate people on that. And the other big one I found too is the importance of having a will and power of attorney. A lot of business owners are like, yeah, I know it's important, but my kids will take care of this, or, I've got that cover. But it's like, well, if you don't have an actual will and power of attorney in place that designates your kids maybe to cover you if you're incapacitated, to look after your business, then nobody can do it. I know business owners who actually didn't protect themselves that way, and they lost their business because the banks weren't going to listen to anybody. They're not going to take your word, and say, yep, the person is in the hospital. They're not able to pay their bills. And so if you can't pay your bills, that's a problem. So you need to really have the will and power of attorney in place so that you can designate people to run your affairs while you're not able to. And a lot of people don't realize the importance of that. So that's
good to know.
Big one.
Really good to know. So I'm sure the listeners are probably curious. They see the goodwill you're putting out there and the great things that you're doing. And so, that always occurs when you're at work, right? When you're during working hours. But when you're not in working hours, what does Annemarie like to do for fun?
So as we were talking about earlier, I play pickleball. I've gotten really into the Barrie Pickleball Club, and I play now 4 times a week. I love it. It's a very social sport. It's become the huge craze. I love it. It's fun. It's a great way to get exercise. And then in the summer, I also like hiking. I like kayaking. Just in the process of getting a brand new sea kayak, something to take it out on the Georgian Bay. But I also love kayaking down calm rivers and, enjoying life. I like going out to nice restaurants. I like hanging out with my friends. Life's to be lived. And that's what I love doing. And I think that's why I love networking. I actually feel I'm a bit of a queen of the networking environment. Sometimes I'm going to like 6 networkings a week. As you know, you see me at most of them. I'm also an ambassador with the Chamber of Commerce. So I do that too as a give back. It's voluntary. And I'm seeing my friends at the networking events. So it's actually I don't find there's really too much separation between Annemarie private and Annemarie doing what I do, because it's just me. I just am me. I'm not always pushing my stuff. I don't do that. I'm out making friends everywhere, and that's it's fun.
So what about pickleball specifically would you say to somebody who maybe they were thinking about it, like somebody like myself? What would you say about pickleball? Like, because, I kind of know what it is, but I don't know what to expect. What was maybe a shocker for you, or something that you could say to somebody who's thinking about getting in that you could kind of rope them in?
So I actually was at our Chamber of Commerce. We were having our ambassador meeting, and I was all jacked up because I'd been playing in the morning, I think it was. So I came in and I'm like, have you guys heard of pickleball? It's a great thing. And I actually showed them you use a paddle. So it's kind of a cross between say ping pong or table tennis, badminton and tennis, or any racket sports really. And it uses a plastic wiffle ball, and it's a paddle. You could fit 4 pickleball courts on a tennis court. It's a little less intensive than tennis. But if you've ever played any racket sport ever, you will love it. I don't think we've met or come across anybody that didn't go, oh my gosh, I love it. And once you get you go out, you can come out as we do have guest passes, and they also offer it at the rec centers. But when we're, during the winter, but in the summer, we also have in Barrie, we're really fortunate. There's a lot of public courts. Our club does have a bunch of the public courts at Painswick, for example, but, come out and, grab a paddle. If you know someone who's got one, a lot of times people have extra, and just try it and see what you think. Cause it becomes then a bit of an obsession, because it's just a great way to get some exercise and have some fun and lots of laughs. And so it's just a matter of just get out and try it, see what it's like.
You get any like take golf, for example, right? And from back in the day to now, it's become, a thing where those, maybe the flashy attire is a little bit more common and a little bit more accepting in that particular sport. Do you ever get anybody or people that come out that are doing like, like a team outfit thing going on, or people just kind of jazzing up in their regular clothes?
No, most people are wearing kind of sporty clothes. They're wearing their sweats or they're wearing their shorts. It's not really so much, but that being said, yesterday I was out with a bunch of people. We played in the morning and then we went out for brunch and there were 16 of us. Like, it wasn't a small group. It was a good number of people. It was somebody's birthday that we play with on a regular basis. And we talked about doing a St. Patrick's Day pot of gold pickleball tournament. We're like, yeah, that'd be fun. We can make it green and everybody wear green. And I know that there's some ladies leagues. They do some things where they dress up and they have some fun with that. So you can get goofy and fun, but generally people are out to get some exercise. I haven't seen too many people doing the team thing, but I have yet to play in a tournament. That's what my goal is this year, is to get into some of the tournament play, because there's quite a few tournaments locally and they have, up to like Collingwood, Wasaga Beach and whatnot. So we'll see. I don't know what those ones look like. I don't know if people get matching outfits or not. But
I'd be that guy wearing like the 70s retro vibe pink with the headband and just getting after it, working up a good sweat, getting the lather going,
Yeah. Well, and I think the other big thing that why people like pickleball is it's not expensive. You can pick up a paddle for, under $100. The balls are not expensive, and away you go. You just get your court shoes on, you can go play. The fee for the club is not expensive either for a whole year. It's under $100. It's like,
nice.
There's no barrier to everybody being able to enjoy this sport, which is really cool.
Very nice. Okay, let's switch gears. Let's go into a little bit more of a serious question we like to ask on the show. Challenges occur throughout the course of our lifetimes, and sometimes it's in our control, sometimes it's not. Have you ever had a hardship that you've experienced in your life that you've had to overcome, and it was something that you did overcome, and how did it make you better? How did it make you stronger for it?
My divorce was a big one. It was a real big one. It felt like a failure to me, even though it's not. I know it's not now, but at the time I had 2 little kids. I'm like, whoa, first one in my family to ever go through it. My ex and I get along fine. We've, I raised the kids pretty much most of it, but we still, when it's to deal with the kids, we're able to have chats and we've celebrated birthdays together and all that. It's fine. That was tough though. That was tough. And like I say, I am where I am today because I actually went through that. And I love to be able to help other people, help them feel empowered and not stuck. And that's where the Growing Beyond Divorce is sort of the side gig to my regular gig, if you will, kind of came into play because I know I've been through it. And the other big thing I think that I haven't really been very public about. So if you want me to get raw and real, I guess I'm going to get raw and real publicly. That's kind of creepy, but not creepy, but 4 years ago, I did go through breast cancer. Early intervention is key. I did not publicly post it everywhere, but you know what? It was my routine mammogram, thankfully, caught it. It was not something I would have caught otherwise. There was no lumps or any of that. The mammogram caught it, and I was able to get in. I didn't have to deal with the chemo or any of that because it was caught really early. And I had a very positive mindset going into it. My mindset was, it's going to be fine. I'm not doing chemo. This was caught really early. We're good. And I just had such a passionate, strong view that I was good. And I was, and I got through it. And I just got down to, I didn't really talk about it. I didn't post it everywhere because that just wasn't my journey. Other people have different journeys and they need to post and they need to handle it all differently. But to go through that was sort of a life-changing kind of whoa. And the neat thing is, because I had built my business the way it was as a brokerage, I still kept getting my residual income. I still getting paid. I didn't miss any bill payments. I didn't, while I was dealing with, what I was dealing with, I was good. I was really good. And I had a great supportive group around me, great friends, but I also was huge, and I still am huge into personal development. It helps you to overcome challenges. So I do a lot of reading of really great books that help you with your mindset, because it's all about mindset. So whether you're going through a divorce, you're going through a life challenge, life-threatening illness or whatever it might be, I'm so about the mindset and having a positive mindset and being around people that bring you up, not bring you down. And I think that's super key, like really key.
Definitely have experience with that. I mean, the mind is a powerful thing. It's easy to get sidetracked. It's easy to go down a rabbit hole or to think on the negative, and continuously striving to think about the positive and keep your mind in that high energy space is really a skill that most need to learn how to do that, how to develop it over time. So really happy that you found that. And when life events happen, I'm with somebody who had the same life event. You tend to look at things a little bit through a different lens and live in a little bit more for the moment, because you never know when your time is up, and trying to live life to the fullest and maximize that is really a key element to life that not a lot of people get to really discover until those moments happen to them.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a wake-up call to go, wow, life is too short and life can go by. And no one in my family had ever gone through, like, that just wasn't in our wheelhouse of, illnesses that people had. They didn't have it. And I had done everything right. So I was very angry. Like, how did this happen? I did everything that I was supposed to do. Right. And I didn't smoke. I didn't, I had reduced to what I was, drinking, as far as, the occasional wine. Sure. But, whatever, we all do that. Right. Whatever. Yeah. But, exercise, I, was not overweight and all that stuff. And I'm like, what? And I was eating properly. I eat well. I don't eat a lot of junk. And I'm like, wow, okay. So, you go, And then I really started focusing on another goal, which is to do a lot of traveling and really experiencing life and not just letting it pass you by. So that's why I have the positive attitude.
Travel really fills the soul, in seeing different parts of the world and how people live over there. And even recently, I'm just watching a lot of documentaries on like Alexander the Great and the different time eras. Back then, I'm just watching the Rome. It's 3 seasons long. I think there's 10 episodes per season, and it's got some reenactment, but it really goes through every little detail that they have on the archives of that civilization at the time, and the great pitfalls that they had, and all of that stuff. It gives you a different perspective on where the world's come, where it used to be. Can't really know where to go forward if you can't look at the past, and there's always clues that things and civilizations and people leave behind, right? From that perspective. But happy to see that you overcame all of that. It made you better, made you stronger, gave you a different perspective. Absolute wonderful person. We've known each other for a while. Good friend of mine. What would be one thing that you wish the listeners knew about your business?
It's for everyone, actually. Whether you're a small business or you're a family, you can utilize the services, and some of the things you don't think you need it for, you can use it for. It's not always about the legal and the big. It's not about a lawsuit. It's just about everyday things. Do you have a warranty issue? Do you get do you have an issue with the tax department, for example? Do you have a debt collection situation? Do you have a cell phone problem? Do you have a landlord-tenant problem? All sorts of ways that you can be empowered with the service, where you're going and making a proactive approach in your life as opposed to a reactive. And I think that, I always say that to small businesses. This allows you to be proactive in your business decisions, not reactive. And that's the same for your family. Like, my kids have used it for landlord tenant. They were, away at school. They had some landlords that weren't the best landlords, and to feel empowered at the age of 19 to go, wait a sec, I have rights here. And having a large law firm backing her, like my daughter, for example, that's what happened. It was one of those situations. And the landlord was totally trying to pull something that was illegal. So it's really, let's sit down, have a coffee, and let's see if it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, hey, that's all good. But at least you know about it, because you might know somebody else who needs it, who's going through something. And it, makes it reasonable and affordable to the masses.
And if people wanted to go and have a coffee with you, what's the best way that they could get a hold of you?
My phone number, 705. Should I put in the chat? What do you want me to do? Or just tell you?
Say it out there, because people can always rewind.
Yep, you bet. So 705-718-5433. That's my cell phone. And texting me is probably the best, just because if you leave a message, it's just easier, more effective if you text. Also, you can reach me at LSannemarieh@gmail.com. It's another way, but texting is definitely, I would say, the preferable way. And no obligation. I mean, just find out if it's a good fit for you. It may be, it may not, but at least you know. And if you're feeling that pit in your stomach of that's not fair and I don't know what to do about it, here's what I can tell you is a lot of times people have that pit in their stomach. I don't know what to do. And they just let stuff go. And they're getting hit. And actually, it would be cheaper for them to have the service and be able to ask the questions and solve the problems as opposed to just letting stuff go. It's not complicated. It's very simple to use it and to access it.
Yeah, pretending something is not there when it really is definitely advice that I would not give. And the product, being a client of yours, is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you very much for coming on the show. This was great to do this, and all the best in growing your business and putting out that goodwill and helping people achieve something that normally would be out of their reach and helping them with their goals as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. And great to have be on your show, and hopefully we connect with your listeners.
Thanks, Annemarie.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com, or call 705-413-3775.